Have you ever reached for a slice of bread, something so familiar, so comforting, and wondered if it could quietly impact your health when paired with certain foods? That question hit me like a lightning bolt one crisp autumn morning while chatting with my Aunt Lisa in her cozy, sunlit kitchen. She's in her late 60s, sharp-witted, with a laugh that lights up the room, and she's always been meticulous about her diet and staying active. Over a steaming cup of herbal tea, she shared a revelation that stopped me in my tracks. Bread, when combined with specific foods, had caused her more digestive trouble than years of fast food, sugary sodas, or workplace stress ever did. I chuckled. At first, thinking she was exaggerating, bread, a health hazard. Come on. But Lisa was dead serious. Her doctor had traced years of bloating, fatigue, and discomfort to her daily sandwiches and toasts, staples she'd never questioned. By making simple, budget-friendly changes to her food pairings, Lisa transformed her health. Months later, her checkup revealed improved gut function, consistent energy levels, and a specialist who couldn't stop smiling at her progress. Her story sparked a fire in me. What are we all overlooking about bread, a staple we trust without hesitation? If you've ever struggled with unexplained weight gain, digestive discomfort, blood sugar fluctuations, or low energy, especially as you age, this video is for you. We're diving deep into how to make smarter choices that empower your health, without sacrificing the foods you love. Here's a quick question to pull you in. Could your innocent loaf of bread pose risks with just 5 everyday pairings? If you're curious, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated with practical, science-backed health insights. Drop a 1 in the comments if this resonates with you, or a 0 if you're skeptical. Share any food-related challenges you're facing. We'll respond thoughtfully to each comment. Let's embark on this journey together to uncover how to enjoy bread wisely while supporting your well-being for years to come. The bread blind spot. Why we've missed potential health risks for so long. When you picture bread, what comes to mind? For many, it's pure comfort wrapped in nostalgia. Memories of warm bakery aromas wafting through the air during childhood weekends, or the simple joy of spreading butter on fresh toast as a kid. Bread feels like a safe, reliable staple, affordable, filling, and endlessly versatile. It's the backbone of countless meals. Sandwiches for lunch, toast for breakfast, rolls with dinner. But why do we trust bread so unquestioningly? I got a clue a few years back at a nutrition workshop I attended in Chicago. A leading dietitian, Dr. Susan Carter, posed a thought-provoking question to the crowd. What's the sneakiest healthy food you've overeaten without realizing its impact? Hands shot up. Some said pasta, others pointed to yogurt or granola. Dr. Carter smiled knowingly and said, "It's bread." She explained that decades of clever marketing have positioned bread as an essential, harmless part of our diets. Think bagels for breakfast, submarine sandwiches for lunch, or dinner rolls slathered with butter. Yet, rarely do we hear about how certain food pairings can amplify health risks when combined with bread's carbohydrates. This insight sent me down a rabbit hole of research, and what I found was eye-opening. Bread's primary components, carbohydrates, like gluten and starches, provide quick energy when eaten alone, but when paired with specific foods, they can interact in ways that challenge your body's balance. Let's debunk some common myths that have kept us complacent for too long. Bread isn't always a neutral base that plays well with every topping. Not all carbohydrates are harmless in every context, and even cheap everyday staples can carry risks if paired unwisely. The science reveals why, and it starts with one of the most common health concerns we face, the health of our digestive system. Here's what researchers have discovered about how bread pairings can affect your gut, setting the stage for our deeper exploration. Gut health insights, how certain bread pairings may disrupt your digestive balance. Imagine your digestive system as a bustling highway in a vibrant city. Cars zooming along, delivering nutrients to every part of your body. Over time, though, traffic can build up. leading to slowdowns that manifest as bloating, discomfort, acid reflux, or even chronic fatigue. Many of us reach for bread as a quick, filling option, assuming its carbohydrates and fibers are always beneficial. To an extent, that's true. Bread can provide energy and satisfaction, making it a go-to for busy mornings or rushed lunches. But when paired with certain foods, bread can contribute to digestive challenges that catch us off guard. Let's break down the 5 risky pairings and the specific mechanisms behind their effects, backed by solid research. First up, processed meats like bacon, ham, or sausage contain nitrates, preservatives used to extend shelf life and enhance flavor. These nitrates can react with amines, naturally occurring compounds in bread, to form N-nitroso compounds, which are linked to inflammation and a 15–20% increased risk of colorectal cancer. This was detailed in the 2014 Shanghai Women's Health Study, published in the International Journal of Cancer, which followed 73,000 women over a decade and found a clear correlation between processed meat consumption and cancer risk. Second, fried foods like potato chips, French fries, or fried chicken introduce trans fats, which combine with bread's carbohydrates to form advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs promote inflammation in tissues, including the gut, as outlined in a 2013 review in Advances in Nutrition, which analyzed dietary impacts on inflammatory markers. Third, sugary spreads like jams, jellies, or honey contain simple sugars that ferment with bread's natural yeasts in the gut, disrupting microbiota balance and leading to a condition called dysbiosis, which is associated with bloating and digestive discomfort. A 2024 study in Nutrients explored how high-sugar diets alter gut bacteria, contributing to these issues. Fourth, processed cheese, such as slices or spreads, contains casein proteins that can bind with bread's gluten, forming complexes that slow digestion and may cause constipation or discomfort in sensitive individuals. This interaction was highlighted in a 2017 review in Frontiers in Microbiology, which examined protein cross-reactivity in the digestive tract. Fifth, coffee or tea, staples for many breakfasts, contains tannins, naturally occurring compounds, that bind to iron in bread, reducing its absorption by up to 39%. This can contribute to fatigue or even anemia over time, as shown in a 1983 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which measured iron bioavailability in various food combinations. To put this in perspective, a landmark 2015 study from Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, involving 120,000 participants over 10 years, found that diets high in poorly paired carbohydrates increased risks of metabolic disorders, such as irritable bowel syndrome and insulin resistance, by 20–30%. My Aunt Lisa's experience brought these findings to life. She used to love her deli meat sandwiches. Ham and cheese on white bread, a classic. But after years of bloating, she switched to vegetable-based toasts, like avocado and tomato on whole grain bread, and within weeks, her digestive discomfort vanished. Her story inspired me to look closer at how these pairings affect other areas of health. Inspired to take control of your gut health? Here's a challenge. Try swapping out one of these risky pairings this week, maybe skip the bacon sandwich for a veggie toast. Share your plan in the comments below and hit like if you're joining the challenge. This understanding of digestive impacts naturally leads us to another common concern as we age: managing our weight effectively. Weight management. How bread pairings may influence your body composition. As we get older, maintaining a healthy weight becomes more than just a matter of fitting into our favorite jeans. It's about preserving energy, mobility, and overall vitality for the years ahead. Many of us try diets, count calories, or hit the gym regularly. But if the scale refuses to budge, the issue might lie in our food pairings rather than the quantity we eat. Bread, especially refined types like white bread or bagels, contains simple carbohydrates that cause rapid spikes in insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar. When paired with high-fat or high-sugar foods, these carbs can promote fat storage rather than energy use, tipping the scale in the wrong direction. A 2023 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which tracked 136,000 adults over 4 years, found that high glycemic pairings with bread, such as sugary jams or processed meats, were associated with an average weight gain of 1 to 2 kilograms, particularly in individuals over 50. Let's break it down. When you spread sugary jam on white toast, the combination creates a calorie-dense meal that's absorbed quickly, signaling the body to store excess energy as fat rather than burn it for fuel. In contrast, pairing bread with fiber-rich vegetables like mashed avocado or fresh tomato slices slows digestion and stabilizes blood sugar, helping you feel full longer and reducing the urge to snack. This isn't about swearing off bread or diving into restrictive low-carb diets that leave you feeling deprived. It's about choosing companions that align with your health goals. You have the power to make simple swaps that make a big difference. For example, my friend Sarah, a busy mom in her 40s, struggled with weight gain despite cutting calories. She loved her morning toast with honey, but switched to almond butter and banana slices after learning about glycemic impacts. Within a month, she noticed less bloating and more energy, and over 6 months, she shed 5 pounds without changing much else. The science backs this up. A 2019 study in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology found that low glycemic diets, which prioritize stable blood sugar, led to better weight maintenance than low-calorie diets alone. Want to start today? Pick one risky pairing to avoid. Maybe skip the jam on your morning toast or the bacon on your sandwich and replace it with a veggie or protein-based option. Share your commitment in the comments below and let's inspire each other. This focus on smart choices doesn't just help with weight, it also applies to another critical area, your heart health, where bread's role becomes even more significant. 4. Supporting heart health. How bread pairings may influence cholesterol and cardiovascular wellness. Have you ever felt unusually heavy or sluggish after eating a loaded sandwich, like a bacon and cheese melt on white bread? That sensation might be more than just fullness. It could signal challenges to your cholesterol levels or inflammation in your body, both of which impact your heart. Bread, particularly refined varieties like white bread or rolls, accelerates the absorption of fats from certain pairings, leading to rapid spikes in blood lipids, the fats circulating in your bloodstream. For instance, pairing bread with processed meats like bacon, sausage, or deli ham introduces saturated fats that, when combined with bread's simple carbohydrates, can elevate LDL cholesterol, often referred to as bad cholesterol because it contributes to plaque buildup in arteries. A 2014 study in Food and Nutrition Research compared the effects of oat-based bread pairings to wheat-based ones and found that oat pairings reduced LDL cholesterol by 5 to 10% over 8 weeks in a group of 40 participants with elevated cholesterol. Similarly, a 2000 study in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that diets incorporating rye bread lowered total cholesterol by 8% compared to white bread diets in 60 adults over 12 weeks. The mechanism is clear. Refined bread's high glycemic carbs speed up fat absorption, creating a lipid surge that stresses your cardiovascular system. In contrast, pairing bread with heart-healthy options like vegetables drizzled with olive oil or avocado, helps maintain balanced cholesterol levels and supports your arteries. My colleague, Mark, a 55-year-old accountant, faced warnings about high cholesterol from his doctor, who suggested statins. Determined to try a dietary approach first, Mark switched from his usual meat-heavy sandwiches, think ham and cheese on a baguette, to veggie-based toasts, like whole-grain bread with hummus and cucumber. Within 3 months, his LDL cholesterol dropped by 15%, and his doctor was stunned, calling off the medication. Mark's story shows that it's not about eliminating bread entirely. It's about selecting pairings that empower your heart health. The science supports this. A 2021 study in Circulation found that diets rich in whole grains and vegetables Reduced cardiovascular risk factors by 10 to 15% compared to processed food diets. This isn't about restriction. It's about making informed choices that keep your heart strong. These smart selections also play a crucial role in another vital area as we age, strengthening our immune system to keep us resilient. Strengthening immunity. How bread pairings may impact your body's natural defenses. Have you ever noticed feeling run down, catching colds more easily, or struggling with persistent fatigue after a string of carb-heavy meals? As we age, our immune system becomes increasingly dependent on the health of our gut, which houses about 70% of our immune cells. Gluten in bread, when paired with certain foods, can stress gut linings, potentially allowing toxins to leak through, a process known as increased intestinal permeability, which is linked to inflammation and weakened immunity. A 2024 review in StatPearls estimated that up to 6% of older adults have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, which can increase susceptibility to infections by compromising gut barriers. For example, processed meats or cheese paired with bread can exacerbate gut irritation, further weakening immune defenses. A 2017 study in nutrients followed 200 elderly participants over a year and found that those who avoided such pairings had a 10–15% lower rate of respiratory infections compared to those who didn't. The mechanism is straightforward. Irritants like nitrates in processed meats or casein in cheese stress the gut lining, while bread's lack of key micronutrients like zinc or vitamin C leaves immunity vulnerable. Let's dig deeper. Nitrates. In meats form inflammatory compounds, as we discussed earlier, which can disrupt gut flora balance. Casein, on the other hand, binds with gluten, creating complexes that are harder to digest, potentially triggering low-grade inflammation. My neighbor Pat, a retired nurse in her early 70s, struggled with frequent flu bouts every winter. She loved her grilled cheese sandwiches and bacon rolls, but after learning about these risks, she started avoiding these pairings, opting for veggie toasts with avocado or hummus instead. Within a few weeks, she noticed fewer colds and more energy, and by the next flu season, she was fighting off bugs better than her grandkids, who jokingly called her Super Gran. Her transformation was a wake-up call. Small changes in food pairings can bolster your body's natural defenses. The science backs this up. A 2020 study in the Journal of Immunology found that diets low in processed foods and high in fiber supported stronger immune responses in older adults. By choosing bread pairings that support gut health, like vegetables or lean protein such as eggs or turkey, you can strengthen your immunity without feeling deprived. These choices don't just benefit you, they ripple outward, shaping healthier habits for the long term. Which brings us to a broader perspective on why these pairings matter. 6. Long-term wellness. Why mindful bread pairings matter beyond personal health. Choosing what to eat isn't just about feeling good today, it's about building a foundation for a vibrant, healthy future for yourself, your family, and even your community. Poor bread pairings, often highly processed, lack essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and fiber, leading to overeating without true nourishment. They can also create habit loops, making you crave more processed foods rather than satisfying whole foods that fuel your body properly. A 2021 study in The Lancet Public Health highlighted how reliance on processed foods contributes to chronic conditions like obesity and diabetes, straining healthcare systems globally and costing billions annually. For example, pairing bread with processed meats or sugary spreads delivers empty calories that don't sustain you, often leading to snacking or overeating later. In contrast, nutrient-dense pairings like whole-grain bread with avocado, fresh vegetables, or lean proteins provide lasting energy and satisfaction. This isn't just a personal win, it's a gift to your loved ones, modeling mindful eating habits for future generations. Take my cousin Emily, a high school teacher who grew up on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She noticed her students mimicking her lunch choices, so she switched to veggie-based wraps to set a better example. Over time, her students started bringing healthier lunches too, creating a ripple effect in her classroom. The science supports this broader impact. A 2019 study in Public Health Nutrition found that family dietary changes influenced children's eating habits, reducing processed food intake by 20%. By choosing nutrient-dense pairings, you foster habits that sustain energy, vitality, and wellness. Not just for you, but for those around you. It's a small, powerful step toward living in alignment with your values: health, sustainability, and care for others. With this broader perspective in mind, let's get practical and identify the 5 bread pairings to reconsider in your daily meals to make these benefits a reality. 7. Identifying the 5 common bread pairings and their potential health effects. Feeling overwhelmed by the endless food choices at cafes, grocery stores, or even in your own kitchen? It's easy to grab a sandwich or toast without thinking twice, but some pairings can work against your health goals. Let's simplify things with a clear, science-backed guide to the 5 bread pairings to approach with caution. First, processed meats like bacon, ham, sausage, or deli meats contain nitrates, preservatives that react with amines in bread to form N-nitroso compounds. These compounds are classified as potential carcinogens and are linked to a 15–20% increased risk of colorectal cancer, according to the World Health Organization's 2015 report on processed meats, which reviewed over 800 studies worldwide. Second, fried foods like potato chips, French fries, or fried chicken introduce trans fats, which combine with bread's carbohydrates to form advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, that inflame joints and tissues, as detailed in a 2021 review in Nutrients on dietary inflammation. Third, sugary spreads like jams, jellies, or honey contain simple sugars that ferment with bread's natural yeasts in the gut, leading to dysbiosis, a disruption of gut bacteria associated with bloating and discomfort, per a 2024 study in Frontiers in Nutrition. Fourth, processed cheese, such as pre-sliced cheddar or cheese spreads, contains casein proteins that bind with bread's gluten, forming complexes that slow digestion and may cause constipation or discomfort in sensitive individuals, as noted in a 2017 review in Frontiers in Microbiology. Fifth, coffee or tea, common breakfast companions, contains tannins, naturally occurring compounds that bind to iron in bread, reducing its absorption by up to 39% and potentially contributing to fatigue or anemia over time, per a 1983 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Instead of these pairings, opt for whole grain or sprouted grain breads, like Ezekiel or whole rye, paired with nutrient-rich options like fresh vegetables, avocado, or lean proteins, such as turkey or eggs. These alternatives support your health while keeping meals delicious. Ready to take action? Commit to swapping out one of these risky pairings this week. Maybe skip the bacon sandwich for a hummus and cucumber toast. Hit like if you're joining the challenge and comment your choice below to inspire others. Now, let's explore delicious, health-conscious ways to enjoy bread without compromising your wellness goals. 8. 3 empowering bread alternatives. Enjoy bread safely and flavorfully. Worried about giving up the bread you love? You don't have to. Smart swaps let you enjoy bread while supporting your health in a way that feels satisfying and sustainable. Here are 3 tasty, health-conscious options to try, each designed to keep bread enjoyable while aligning with your wellness goals. First, veggie toast. Take a slice of whole grain or sprouted grain bread, top it with mashed avocado and fresh tomato slices, and drizzle with a touch of extra virgin olive oil and a pinch of fresh herbs like basil or oregano. The fiber from the vegetables balances bread's carbohydrates, preventing blood sugar spikes and keeping you full for hours. A 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that avocado-based meals improved satiety by 25% compared to high-carb meals. This option is perfect for breakfast or a light lunch. Second, nut butter delight. Spread almond or peanut butter on whole grain bread, add thin slices of banana, and sprinkle a dash of cinnamon for a touch of warmth. The healthy fats and proteins. In nut butter, slow carbohydrate absorption, stabilizing energy levels and reducing cravings. A 2018 study in nutrients showed that nut-based snacks reduced hunger by 20% compared to sugary alternatives. This is a kid-friendly option that feels indulgent but supports your health. Third, herb egg topper, scramble eggs with fresh spinach, or diced bell peppers. Place on a slice of toasted rye or whole grain bread and season with garlic, thyme, or a pinch of chili flakes for extra flavor. The protein from eggs and micronutrients from vegetables make this a hearty, nutrient-dense option that fuels your day. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that egg-based breakfasts improved energy and focus by 15% compared to carb-heavy meals. These alternatives keep bread enjoyable while working with your body, not against it. No need to sacrifice flavor or nostalgia. Just choose pairings that empower your health. My friend Jake, a marathon runner, switched to these options before races and noticed better stamina and less bloating. You can try them too, even if you're just running after kids or a busy schedule. But for some, extra caution is needed when incorporating bread into their diets, so let's explore those considerations next. Special considerations. When to be extra mindful with bread pairings. While these swaps are safe and beneficial for most people, certain conditions require tailored approaches to ensure bread fits into your diet without causing harm. If you're gluten-sensitive or have celiac disease, bread can trigger gut inflammation, especially during symptom flares. A 2020 study in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology estimated that 1 to 2% of adults have celiac disease, with up to 6% showing non-celiac gluten sensitivity, which can cause bloating, fatigue, or joint pain. During flares, avoid bread entirely and consult a doctor. For milder cases, small portions of gluten-free or sprouted grain bread may be tolerated, but always check with a professional. For individuals with diabetes, bread's carbohydrates can spike blood sugar, especially when paired with high glycemic foods like jams or processed meats. A 2022 review in Diabetes Care recommends choosing low glycemic index breads with a GI under 50 to minimize glucose fluctuations and reduce kidney strain. For example, rye or sourdough breads have lower GI scores than white bread. If you have allergies, check for additives in processed pairings, like preservatives in deli meats or artificial flavors in cheese spreads, which can trigger reactions in sensitive individuals. Pregnant women should avoid high mercury or additive-heavy foods, like certain processed meats. But whole grain bread paired with vegetables can boost folate intake, supporting fetal development, as noted in a 2021 study in the Journal of Maternal, Fetal, and Neonatal Medicine. For most people, these mindful swaps are simple, effective, and empowering, allowing you to enjoy bread while protecting your health. Knowledge is your greatest tool. Consult a healthcare professional for personalized advice to ensure your choices align with your unique needs. This brings us to our final wrap-up, where we'll tie everything together and inspire you to take action, empowering your health with mindful bread choices. Let's bring it all together. We've explored how bread, a beloved staple, can pose health challenges when paired with processed meats, fried foods, sugary spreads, processed cheese, or coffee and tea. These risks are backed by robust research like the 2015 Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health study, which linked poorly paired carbohydrates to a 20-30% increased risk of metabolic disorders, and the 2023 American Journal of Clinical Nutrition study, which found high glycemic pairings contributed to 1 to 2 kilos of weight gain over 4 years. We dove into the mechanisms. Nitrates in processed meats form inflammatory N-nitroso compounds, trans fats in fried foods create tissue-damaging agents, sugars in jams cause gut dysbiosis, casein in cheese slows digestion, and tannins in coffee or tea reduce iron absorption by up to 39%. These insights aren't meant to scare you, they're here to empower you with knowledge. My Aunt Lisa, Mark, Pat, and others transformed their health with simple swaps, like choosing veggie toasts or nut butter toppings over risky pairings. You can too. This isn't about fear or deprivation. It's about making informed choices that support your gut health, weight management, heart wellness, and immune strength. Here's your challenge. Try swapping out one risky pairing this week. Maybe skip the ham sandwich for an avocado toast or the jelly toast for a nut butter and banana combo. Share your commitment in the comments, and let's inspire each other. Hit like if you're in. Share this video with a loved one. It could spark a healthier future for them too. To mindful eating, informed choices, and a vibrant, thriving life. One intentional bite at a time.